Criminal kitty. Burp, meow. Welcome. I'm your host, Criminal Kitty. You found a quiet place, a pocket of stillness carved out just for you. Tonight you're invited to step into the darkness, not to be afraid of it, but to listen, to drift, to dream. This is Sleep with One Eye Open, a journey through strange tales, unsettling thoughts, and quiet horrors that creep in the night. But before we begin, let's take a moment to slow down together. Close your eyes. Now take a slow, deep breath in. Hold it for a moment and let it out gently. Again, breathe in, hold, and release. Feel your body begin to soften. Your shoulders, your jaw, your hands. Let everything drop away. Let the weight of the day melt from your mind like mist burning off in the morning sun. You're safe here. You're allowed to drift. With each breath, you're sinking deeper into your bed, into yourself, into the threshold where reality begins to stretch. Soon you'll hear voices from the other side of sleep, stories whispered from behind mirrors, beneath floors, beyond stars. Some will make sense, some will not. That's okay. Don't hold on to anything. Just let yourself float. And now, if you're ready, let's begin. A room behind walls. In her fourth-floor apartment, Mira noticed something strange. A draft coming from behind her bookshelf. She pulled it away and found a seam in the wall, a narrow sliver of space. When she pressed her hand into it, the drywall flexed like rubber. Behind it was another room. Narrow, colorless, silent. A window with no view. The air felt thick, like water on her skin. The room wasn't on the building's blueprint. It didn't exist in any listing. But when she walked inside, she always came out hours later. Her watch would blink, 4:44, every time. Mira began hearing her voice from behind the walls.
What time is it?
Familiar phrases,
Where are you?
but slightly off.
Mira.
Her laugh, but without breath behind it. Once, she left her phone recording inside. It captured footsteps. Then, a whisper.
Don't leave me here alone again.
Eventually, she moved her bed inside the hidden room. She said it helped her sleep. But her neighbors stopped seeing her. The landlord found her apartment empty. Nothing but a bed behind a bookshelf. No one's been able to open that room since. The wall is solid now. Sometimes, though, at 4:44, a light flickers from behind it. The town that wasn't there. Erin loved road trips, especially the back roads with no cell service. This time she passed a sign that read, "Welcome to Grapevine." It wasn't on her map. Intrigued, she pulled into the quaint little town. Dusty streets, a diner with fresh coffee, even an old movie theater. Everyone smiled, everyone waved, but no one said a word. She stayed the night at an inn. The room was spotless, too spotless, like it had never actually been used. At 3:03 a.m., she woke to a knock. A woman stood there, pale and shaking. "You need to leave," the woman whispered. "Grapevine isn't real." Before Erin could ask more, the woman vanished like smoke. In the morning, Grapevine was gone. Just empty plains and an abandoned road. Her phone buzzed back to life. A single photo had saved from the night before. It showed her smiling at the Grapevine diner, and the people around her, blurry and faceless. The man who watched himself sleep. Darren had always had vivid dreams, but after a breakup and a move into a new apartment, they became something else entirely. More real, more intrusive. It began when he found a journal on his nightstand that he didn't remember writing in. Inside, only a single entry. "I saw myself get up last night. I didn't come back." Darren laughed it off as a leftover from the last tenant, until the entries kept appearing. Each morning a new page, different handwriting, different voice, more specific. "I stood at the window for 2 hours. I whispered something I didn't understand. I smiled." He set up a camera in his room, watched the footage the next day. At 2:46 a.m., he sat up in bed, except his eyes never opened. He stood, walked to the corner, faced the wall, whispered to it, then turned to look directly in the camera, eyes still closed, grinning. He showed the footage to his therapist, who gently suggested stress sleepwalking. But when he brought the footage in again, the camera was blank. Every night, he'd wake more tired, distant, blurred, like a copy of a copy. Sometimes he caught himself in mirrors at strange angles, holding poses longer than he should. Then one morning, he woke to a final journal entry. "He sleeps now. I'm awake." The Mirror Hotel. Miles booked a room at a boutique hotel for a weekend escape. It was stylish. Glass, chrome, and mirrors in every room. The receptionist handed him the key and warned, "Don't cover the mirrors." Odd, but whatever. Night one, the mirrors showed small delays in his movements. He'd lift his arm, and the reflection would follow, half a second later. Night two, he caught his reflection watching him, not moving, just staring. That night, he covered one mirror with a towel. The next morning, a note had been slipped under his door. You were told. Now every mirror shows different reflections. Sometimes he's asleep. Sometimes he's not alone. He checked out early, but mirror surfaces still feel wrong. In his bathroom at home, his reflection blinks before he does. The sound of her name. Leia had a sound disorder, misophonia. Specific sounds triggered severe discomfort. Chewing, tapping, whistling. But lately, it wasn't sounds that bothered her. It was a sound she didn't recognize. A whisper, faint, repeating her name. Leia, Leia, Leia. It came from the vents, the walls, the drain. Always soft, like someone murmuring just behind a closed door. She recorded it one night, determined to prove she wasn't losing her mind. She played it back in the morning. Nothing. Then she slowed the recording down.
Me in.
She had her apartment checked. No one found anything. No mold, no gas leak. But the whispering got worse. She began sleeping with music, then earplugs, then both. Still, her name slipped through. At work, in her headphones, on silent phones. One night, it stopped. She slept deeply, peacefully. The next morning, a single word carved into her bathroom mirror. Thanks. Now she hears her name again. Leia. Only it's coming from the mouths of strangers, bus drivers, waiters, cashiers. They don't seem to realize they've said it. The backwards house. Tom inherited the house from an uncle he barely knew. It was deep in the woods. Isolated, quiet, old, but beautiful. Except for one thing. Everything in the house was reversed. Pictures faced the wall. Doors opened backwards. Words on the bookshelves were printed in reverse. Even the clocks ticked counterclockwise. He thought it was a bizarre eccentricity. Maybe his uncle had been obsessive. Maybe he had a condition. But there was something unsettling about it. Tom tried to normalize the space, turn furniture around, rehung pictures, replace the backwards labels. That night, he woke up on the ceiling. Or rather, he thought he had. For a full minute, the room was upside down, his bed above him, the floor out of reach. Then he blinked, and everything righted itself. But his reflection in the hallway mirror still stood on the ceiling. The more he changed, the more the house resisted. Cabinets would reopen the wrong way. Light switches would flip back. The floorboards creaked in Morse code. He checked. They said, "Stop turning me around. His dreams were mirror images. People spoke backwards. A version of him stood in a reversed forest, staring. Eventually, he gave up. Turn everything back the way it was. The house quieted. Sometimes he hears laughter echoing in reverse. Sometimes he wakes up, already walking down the hall, feet first. But the house doesn't fight anymore, and neither does he. Hello again. I've watched you wander through shadowed corridors, through twisted dreams and ancient echoes, and yet you're still here, still breathing, still safe. Whether you stayed with me wide awake or drifted off somewhere between the first whisper and the last, I hope these stories help guide you closer to sleep and deeper into the strange. If you enjoyed this journey, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, so next time night falls, you'll know where to find me. And if you're not quite ready to dream just yet, don't worry. We can always start again. Press replay and meet me back at the beginning. Sleep well, and remember, even when your eyes are closed, someone or something might still be watching.